Hello and welcome to the His and Her Show with Jody.
And Alex Mizak.
And today I'm super thrilled to have on a wonderful woman that has really helped me in my own business. And I haven't actually mentioned this to her when we were talking, but she's actually helped me when I almost wanted to give up on my business. She posted something on Facebook and she's inspiring. And so let's, with further ado, welcome Tessa Campen. And she is the creator of the Inspire Academy. So welcome, Tessa.
Thank you. And I can't believe you said that. I didn't even realize that. So
yes.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, that one day you posted something, I forget about giving up or I don't know, something. And it just like was that moment that I needed that because, you know, like both of us, we're doing the business around parenting, like our children. So, you know, there's days where, you know, it just, sometimes it's a little too much, and your words really push through, help me push through those days. So you're welcome.
Thank you. Well, I'm glad you didn't give up because you're amazing. So,
well, thank you.
yeah.
I actually can't give up. Like a part of me, I have those moments where I want to give up, and it's my passion's too deep. So it just.
Well, yeah. Well, you know what? It's probably because this is your calling, right? It's like when something's your calling, you can't separate yourself from it. And so it just becomes who you are. And so, yeah, there's no way you're going to give up.
Yes, exactly. But what we need though are people like you that inspire, like, cause I do that too. I inspire other people, but you know, the inspiring people need people to inspire them too on those days that they're down. So we need people like you too to help us, you know, through those days of, like, I don't know if I can do this kind of thing. So
yeah, we all need one another, right? We need to help one another because, especially if we're the ones that's always giving it, then it's hard. It's easy to see how we can become depleted if we're not filling up our own cups and surrounding ourselves with people who lift us up. So yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So before we get into more, because this is amazing, how about you maybe share a little bit about yourself and like what you do and you know, kind of like what your calling is.
Well, I, like you, I work with women entrepreneurs, and I really feel that my calling is to just, like you said, how I inspired you is to be able to do that for other people. I started out, you know, my background's actually in dentistry. I was a dental assistant for years, so, you know, worked with people who hated coming to see me. But, you know, just trying to make them feel comfortable. And then once I had kids, I knew that I was going to stay home, but didn't know what I was going to do. And I just kind of fell into this role of working with female entrepreneurs. And it's led me here today where I have the privilege of being able to, you know, help them through their challenges and struggles and guide them through their goal achieving process. And that's really what the Inspired Academy is all about.
Wonderful. Well, it is fun that, you know, I actually had the same kind of thing happen to me where I actually always thought I'd be a stay-at-home mom, where I was like, oh, I just want to be home with kids. And then as I became pregnant, I actually discovered, you know, a coaching program, and I went into that, and I was like, I want to do more than just be home. So I get that where, you know, for me, I needed I love being a mom, and at the same time needed something that was just like me giving somewhere else as well.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Did you feel guilty though? Because I feel like, you know, when I say that, you know, I needed to do something else for myself, I'm almost shy to say that because I don't want people to think, do you not love your kids? And it's like, no, it's because I love my kids that I do this. Trust me.
Exactly. Yes,
right?
Exactly. I think nowadays, there's this, you know, you're either working because you need money to you know, pay the bills, or you're staying home with your family. But there's this middle, like, that not a lot of people talk about. Yeah. And I don't think I can see where, you know, you can feel guilty. I was going through this really deep self-love journey, and that's really where I help people, is on their self-love journey. So I'm trying to think back to that. I think I just was so called that I didn't even think about what people were thinking about me, like at that moment. So at that deep, like in that moment of thought, I was just like, yes, this is like, it just lit me up so much that I didn't think about anything else.
And we talk a lot on our podcast. Well, not a lot, but we do talk about, like, you know, judgment and how that doesn't help, and comparing doesn't help, and guilt is those kinds of things.
But the fun thing is knowing it and doing it are two different things, right?
Yeah.
So and it's having people like us doing it and be like, no, it is absolutely. And I love that you said it's for your children. And
yes.
it really is like showing them that they can be leaders, that they can follow their dreams, that they can do things, not being stuck in this like box of like what society thinks is right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just showing them that they're, you know, they do matter too. Their dreams matter. So yeah, I love what you said. You know, it is for your kids.
It is, and it's showing them that, you know, yes, you can, there's nothing wrong with getting a job, and there's people who work a job and they, you know, mm-hmm. they're doing that for a paycheck because that's what they have to do for their family. And then, you know, we encourage our kids to go off and get a career, whether it's, you know, go become a doctor or go become an electrician, whatever it may be. But then I think that there's a group of us that have to follow our calling. And so it's a matter of, you know, I want my children to see that you don't have to just get a job or go to university. And like, if you have a gift, I want you to explore that gift and use that. And, you know, and so if they see me doing that, then hopefully they'll be inspired to be able to go and be like, I can do anything I want, right? Instead of, no, you have to go and do these three things kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The world is really changing, and there's just so much at our fingertips now.
Yeah.
The world is so small. Like years, I'm not even a history person, but like think back when the only way to get to Europe was for the boat, and you know, like so like things are so like, you know, we can have conversations literally with other people on the other side of the world really easily, just because of the internet and things like that. So the world is changing.
The world is changing.
Exactly, and then so that means we can change our perspectives on, you know, we don't have to do what our parents or generations before us did.
Right.
So.
And I think there's some pros and cons to that as well. I mean, I love social media. I love to go on and obviously inspire and help, but then there becomes that aspect, like we were just saying, about the comparison and stuff. Mm-hmm. And, you know, because then you're seeing everyone putting out their best. And we have to also keep the mindset and perspective that what people are putting out is always their best. And so don't fall into that trap of comparing. Because chances are, like, a lot of those people are struggling just like you, if in your business maybe, or in your, you know what I mean? If you're having a hard time. And so it's this idea of just keeping everything in perspective, and using social media for good, but also just be real at the same time.
I actually get a little overwhelmed with social media, so I actually have unplugged days.
Oh, good for you.
I just, and even more so now that, you know, it's becoming a platform for business and things like that. It just gets a little overwhelming. But yes, you're absolutely right. The comparing can really, it can be a really bad rabbit hole to fall down on social media.
It's so easy now to do that kind of stuff, and it doesn't serve you. So you're right. You had said that it's be real and realize that no one's showing you the B side. No one's showing you like the things that are going wrong or anything else, because there's just not enough. No one wants to share that stuff. I try to some days. It's good to be.
It is hard. It can be tricky to do that, but you know, there's days where I'm like, you know what, this was a crappy day. Like, I should share it just so other people know that.
But I love the way you share it, because you always say like, okay, so here's the things that didn't go according to plan or well or whatever, or I felt down or bad, and then you take from it. You learn from it, and you're sending that out in your post as well. Mm-hmm. You're not just complaining about it.
Oh no, complaining doesn't get you anywhere.
Doesn't do anything.
But a lot, like, that's another thing about that social media and the internet now, where it's like I can go somewhere and complain about something, and I will have other people that will either complain, you know, about the same things with me, which somehow makes me feel better, or like go, oh, poor you, right?
Yeah.
So and again, that doesn't serve me.
No.
Right. Or and it's nice to have people like you, Jody, or us on our little podcast, and like Tessa with and Leah and everyone that you've networked with now, because you guys are out there saying, okay, yes, there's that, but that's not going to help you. So here's this other stuff that you might want to try and consider. So I love that the most.
Yeah, and you have to be careful, because the thing is I always tell my clients and anyone that I meet, especially if they're going through a hard time, that hard times are inevitable. They're actually part of your journey. And so, you know, if you're going to wallow in that, and if you're going to then take to social media and complain about people or complain about what's happening in your life, you're not moving forward and you're not changing, then your life's going to continue to suck. Like, it's not going to be great, right? But if you take that and you go, what is the opportunity to learn here? Because I mean, being part of the John Maxwell team, he has a book called Failing Forward, and that's when I first heard that book, it stuck in my head. And so I have embraced failure, and I'm like, if I'm failing, that means I'm trying, I'm moving forward. And if I know that things are going to be hard, then when they come, I can just be like, okay, what am I supposed to learn here? Like, why is this happening to me? Instead of turning to social or turning to people and just complaining. Because you're right, when you get in a group of 4 people, 3 people, and everyone's complaining, that is not a conversation that you can escape from, right? Because everyone just keeps building and building, and it's not good. And
you
so
feed off one another. Yeah.
What did you call it
you
once?
feed.
You feed off.
I think you called it like a vortex of suck once.
I know. I just call it suck mode. I call it
suck mode. Yeah.
There's a lot of different areas of suck mode, but because you can get it yourself. But suck mode in groups is even
worse, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm very mindful of that. And when I feel like I'm in a suck mode group, I just do my best to change the subject, or I just leave, because I can't handle that. Because you don't want to be drawn to that type of conversation, right? But if we all know that we're going to fail, we're going to hit roadblocks, there's going to be challenges. I'm actually leading a group of women through that exact study, and it's all about that. How do we learn from all these lessons and all these doubts and fears and shortcomings and mistakes and all these things, and use them for growth, use them for opportunities. So if we can embrace them, we can learn from them.
Oh, I love that. When you embrace from them, you learn from them.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It really is about, focusing on the why. What do I need to learn from it? What lesson, instead of like, why is it happening to me?
Right.
Yeah.
In a victim state.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that book again was called Failing Forward?
So Failing Forward is one of the books. The mastermind I'm leading right now is actually called Sometimes You Win, Sometimes You Learn. And it's all about that. The whole book is about how we learn from our mistakes and from adversity. And it's amazing. It just gives you a totally different perspective now when you reach a point in your business or your life that is a constant struggle, because we're going to go through those periods in our life, how to look at it and just turn it into an opportunity.
I'm going to try and remember that line. Sometimes we win, sometimes we learn. It's way better to say to your kids than sometimes we win, sometimes you lose.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, the lose is crossed out on the front of the book intentionally, right? So let's not do that. But it's a great line.
It is. Very powerful.
Oh, that's amazing. So did you, I want to get more into the kinds of things that you do, Tessa. So you work specifically with all kinds of entrepreneurs, or specifically women entrepreneurs, and what aspects do you help them with?
Yeah, it's interesting. I work solely with women, but I don't not want to work with men. Do you know what I mean? It's just that's kind of how my business has grown. And part of it is probably because I was, part of the Mompreneurs organization. So I work with women, and then just organically, that's how my business turned out. But so I work with women entrepreneurs, and it started really with, I really wanted to help women understand how to achieve goals. So, we all know how to set goals. We're all told to set goals, and we all do this at the beginning of the year. But then 95% of us, we don't achieve anything we wanted back in January. And so I really wanted to understand, well, why do some people succeed? Why are others failing at this? And so that's really where the Inspired Academy started. And I started sharing what I learned on goal achieving. And then from there, it turned into a bit of a group coaching group, and then led me to the John Maxwell team, where now I do coaching one-on-one with them as well. And so it's really about helping them achieve their goals, but understand that through the lens of personal growth, communication, and like vision and purpose and all those things. And it's not just, I want to reach a goal, right? So it's really understanding that we're all leaders, we can all lead. And, the more that we grow personally, then the closer we are to reaching our goals. There's a great line that I use all the time now that I heard it, from John, was that if we set ourselves up, like if we set our eyes on the goals, we may reach them. But if we set ourselves up for growth, we'll reach them every time. And seen that in this past year because I've grown so much because I was intentional about personal growth and not just what more can I do? What other social media platform do I need to learn? What other marketing strategy do I need to learn? Like, we're always focused on what other business thing do I need, but it's really what does Tessa need to do in order to grow so she can actually start achieving those goals, so she can actually start doing her marketing properly, so she can, you know, make progress in her business. And as soon as that switch went off and I started focusing on growth over goals, I actually started reaching goals more so than ever before. And so it's neat. It's really a blend of this is how it's worked for me in reaching goals, and then the aspect of here's a, you know, personal development, leadership and communication side that we should explore at the same time.
Well, that's wonderful. I love that because it's a lot, I think, that people are missing. The whole, you know, they just think, like you said, we're taught to set goals and then forget about all the other stuff.
And it sounds like, in addition, when you're always chasing something.
Yes.
So you're teaching people to focus inwards.
Exactly.
And then by doing so, they're actually going to achieve the goals that they set themselves up.
Exactly. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
It does, right? Because if with goals, I mean, I read once actually that there isn't one person that has won the the Nobel Peace Prize that has done anything great after winning that. So, I mean, you think about that in goals. You set a goal for yourself, and all you're focused on is the destination. And so the journey itself becomes so difficult because if you start reaching, you know, difficulties in the business or things happen and people are saying things about you or whatever it may be, you're not reaching your goals when you think you should. You're so focused on that destination that you're not even realizing the journey you're on. And sometimes the journey isn't going to lead you to that goal in a linear type of process. I mean, our businesses are not linear. And so when you focus more on growth, then you know that there's going to be, you know, ups and downs, and you're going to value the journey over the destination. And you're never simply arriving. It's not about arriving, right? It's about how are you growing? You know, when it comes to goals, the purpose of a goal isn't to reach the goal. The purpose of a goal is to become the person you are created to be. That's really the purpose of our goals. It's not reaching it. It's becoming who you were created to be. And so if we can understand that, then we will continue to set goals, but we're going to value the process.
Wow.
And that's kind of what,
that is super powerful.
It sounds, to me, it sounds a lot like what you're talking about parallels, like the stuff Jody talks about as well, or we talk about self-love and self-care. By focusing on yourself and making yourself a better person, not a better person, but like
the best version of you.
The best version of you that you can make, then does that sound right? Like, it sounds very, very parallel. Like, okay, so you can focus on the best version of you, and then the best version of you is the best parent, the best entrepreneur, the best, you know, and then that helps you reach the goals outside of you, I suppose. That. Or is that fair to say that the goals are outside of you, or are they also sort of part of you as well?
I think we're all capable.
I guess that's true,
right? We're all capable of reaching whatever goal we set out to reach. I believe that. I believe that we're all given an idea for a reason. They don't just come to us because, you know, most of us just discredit any idea that comes to our head because we think of the how. We go, well, I don't know how to do that, so no, I'm not going to do that. Instead of just going, that's a great idea, let me write it down, we'll figure the how out later. And so we have all the resources within us to achieve whatever it is that we want. You know, I did a study, like with Think and Grow Rich, a 12-day intensive study with one of our John Maxwell team, actually the president of the John Maxwell team, and he said, it's all about raising our level of awareness. And, you know, we have all these intellectual faculties that we can use to reach our goals, but most of us don't use them. We just use memory or reason, and we go back to what happened before. And instead of going, okay, I can use my imagination and I can use my creativity and I can listen to my intuition and, you know, and so it's this, yes, I think part of it is inside of us. And then maybe the outward what we see outwardly is just who we become. So when we reach those goals, it's because I became capable of taking that next step and achieving that thing, right?
Yeah, there's a really cool quote. I don't know if I'm going to be paraphrasing, but it's like, you're not going to be the same person you are like from now to when you achieve that goal, because it's all about the journey. But I also love that you mentioned, this way you focus more on the journey, because if you're focused on just the destination, it really does make life like not fun, and it's meant to be enjoyed. And I always say, this is a different pillow. It's like happiness is not a destination, it's a way of life. So it's the same idea with goals. Is, you just, you need to know where you're going, but it's about doing the journey to get there.
Yeah. Otherwise the journey will be, it'll feel arduous, and then it'll drag on you, and you might miss some important things while you're on that goal. Like you will have learned something, or you had the opportunity to learn something about yourself or what you're doing, and you lose it because you're too busy chasing that goal.
And there could be like 5 other cool goals in between that big goal destination too that you might just miss if you're not paying attention.
Well, that's the other thing, right, is just being open to opportunities. And sometimes, you're just so set on this one goal that you're not even noticing all these other opportunities that are coming your way, because you're so focused on that. And so when you embrace the process, then you're open to other things. I mean, you still want to move towards that goal, and hopefully that goal is in line with your vision and your purpose and all those things. But you're just enjoying the process, and you get to enjoy everything that happens along the way as you go there, as you grow. I would say you grow towards your goals. It's just, I have a vision board right up here on my wall right now, and I think I see the word grow 6 times. But it's just all about that. How are we growing towards our goals? And it helps us too when we're discouraged. And, oftentimes we'll change our goal, but you don't ever change your goal. You change the plan. You might take a detour and you might do something else, but if your goal is to become, let's say, a coach or a speaker or something, and you keep hearing no, or you keep, things keep popping up, it doesn't mean that goal isn't for you. It may just mean you need to take a different path to get there, or you may need to acquire different skills, and that's where I think the personal growth comes, is, there's other things you're going to have to maybe work on or learn in order to attain that goal.
Now, do you help people determine the goals that they? Because you said some people are gonna, and I'm guilty of this. Like you're gonna set a goal, and it's like that's not the right goal for you. Like you've set this goal, and it's not in line with who you are. It's not in line with who you want to be. And then striving after this is actually going to cause you a lot of grief. So. Or do you think that's not true?
No, well, I was going to say that's a great question, but my gut is telling me that I truly will never know the people I work with, right? Like we don't truly know them. And so I think that would be a very negative thing as a coach for me to tell you what I think you are capable of. And so I think what I would probably do is just ask more questions to get the client that I'm working with to understand that, because even if I don't see it, I think that's the thing with dreams as well. If you believe it, even when no one else does, I think you can achieve that. And so right now I could be working with you, and maybe you don't have all the qualities that I think it takes to achieve a certain goal. Now, if you told me you wanted to be the president of the United States, I would probably tell you that's not in your path.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yep.
So I'm not going to tell someone to go after something that is completely unattainable. However, if they wanted to be a coach or a speaker, for example, and they could not even get up in front of 2 or 3 people and speak, I probably, instead of discouraging them, would just encourage them to work on themselves and really look at the things they needed to work on. So I think to answer your question, I would never tell someone that they shouldn't do something. I would just explore it more so that they can come to the conclusion whether they feel it's right for them.
Yeah, and I think that's good.
Right. And I think another big thing is really then if you don't know what kind of goal you want to set for yourself, it's really taking that time and allowing space to get to know yourself and really be like, what are my values? What would make me smile? What would make me excited about life and to get up out of bed? that's where,
Absolutely.
just, getting to know yourself a little bit more first.
Yeah, and I always start with life pillars. So if anyone comes into my coaching community, they have access to my 90-day focus, which is my goal achieving system. And the first thing we do is we talk about your life. What is your purpose in your health and wellness? What's your purpose for your love relationships, whether it's, a spouse or kids or family members? What's your purpose spiritually, whether it's, religiously or whatever it may be, but we all have a spiritual purpose, whatever it may be. And, financially, what's your purpose? How are you going to contribute back to society? And then your business. I think all of those things need to be in harmony with one another. You're never going to have balance. I don't know if anyone can challenge. I would take a challenge on that because I've yet to discover, but I think as long as they're all in harmony and you know what you want in all those areas, by knowing that, then you can start tapping into, well, what am I good at? What do people say I'm good at? I never saw myself doing what I'm doing today, but it was people who constantly said to me, Tessa, you're really great at making people feel comfortable. You're really inspiring. And the more they said that, then I started believing it. And I was like, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can do more than just lead a networking event. And so I started to explore that, and I started to believe that, and then I started to be that. And so, I think if someone's struggling right now and they're like, I don't know what to do, then I would sit down with them and I would just start asking them a lot of questions and get down to like, well, what do you like doing? What do you love? Great question. It's so easy, but literally if you had a magic wand and you waved it right now, right? What would you do? And people, all of a sudden they, perk up and like, oh, well, magic wand, I would, and they just start talking and you're like, that's what you need to be doing. And then they were like, back to reality, right? Well, wait a minute. No, I can't do that. It's like, but you just, look how you lit up. You can do that. And so I think that's why the coaching industry is so wonderful, because you're able to, we're not tricking our clients into doing something. We're just helping them see that they are capable of so much more than they give themselves credit for. Right? And so it's so fun to help people just discover what it is. And obviously being part of the John Maxwell team, I have amazing tools. And so if someone's struggling, I would take them through Put Your Dreams to the Test. And I would take them through, a 12-week study, and we would really figure out what is it that you want. Let's dive deep and let's figure out exactly what it is that you want to do, and let's, make that happen.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's great, and thank you so much for like expounding on that and explaining it. I think even though you deal with mostly entrepreneurs, I think, or maybe only exclusively entrepreneurs, a lot of what you've talked about here today is going to benefit everybody.
Yes. Yeah.
So
like they could be working a 9-to-5 job and I got
goals I got to set as part of my day-to-day job.
But for your job, and then also personal too.
And personal too. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I think up until now I've worked with entrepreneurs, but I would never not work with someone if they weren't an entrepreneur. Because I do believe that a lot of the stuff can, like you said, it can apply to anyone. If you just have life goals, if you have, goals for even moving up in the company that you're working for. I think a goal is a goal, and the tools that I use would work for anyone, no matter what they do.
Oh, wonderful. So on this note, actually, I think this works well into asking you, is there anything you're up to other than, I know you've mentioned a couple of different little things throughout, but there is, because you said you're in the middle of a group, actually, of women running, like going through the 90 days, I believe.
Yeah.
But anyway, is there anything else?
So I lead some masterminds. So right now we're going through a 6-week mastermind, and then I'll do another one. I'm actually doing Put Your Dreams to the Test in the fall in September. But besides that, I'm doing a goal achieving boot camp actually for the first time, because typically you have to come into the Inspired Academy to get access to my the goal achieving system. I'm going to lead a full day workshop, a live workshop where I'm going to take people through my whole system, so that they can use it over and over and over again, and they can start achieving goals using this 90-day system, and they don't have to, come and personally work with me inside the academy. So I'm really excited. That's happening in August.
Oh, awesome.
Besides that, I'm just going to enjoy my summer and continue helping and inspiring the women that I work with. So
Oh, wonderful. And if anybody listening would like to contact Tessa, all the information is going to be in the description of the podcast as well. So you can find that because you have a Facebook page, right?
Yes.
Yes, you have a Facebook page because I like it. And we'll send we'll have all the links in the comment or in the description.
Perfect.
So before we go, is there any, last thoughts or something you'd like to say before we wrap up?
I just want to thank you guys for having me on. This is amazing. I'm really excited for what you guys are doing and bringing on other speakers, and I've been listening to your podcast, so it's really great. So I just want to congratulate both of you for doing this, because I know it's a lot of work to continue and do this every single week. And so, I'm going to end with that. Just thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Tessa, and thank you so much for being here and sharing your amazing amount of knowledge on goals and just life in general, too. So thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So everybody have a beautiful day.
Bye for now.